Poly Training Journal, Day 54, the unedited version, Bridging and Footwork. Today I went back to my bridging practice, specifically focusing on my strikes 1 and 2, when to step, and the direction of each step, which is really important, and also really focusing on my 12 striking mechanics. I feel like when I do my bridging, my striking mechanics get really lazy because I'm focusing more on my footwork than my strikes. So today that was the focus, was combining them smoothly and making sure that my strikes are still clean. Now, in a scenario with me actually being in a fight with somebody, are those strikes going to be guaranteed to be clean? I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'm not sure. I guess it all depends on the scenario and what strike is needed. I might need a horizontal strike and not a 1, 2, 3, or 4. I might need to guard myself instead of a strike. So would the strikes be exact? I don't know. I've never actually been in a fight where my life has been on the line and I've had these skills and used them. So I can't really give an opinion there. What I can say is that if you have the basics down, you're clean, you're precise, you're on target with your basic strikes, and that's what you're practicing, you're more guaranteed to hit the target when you need to and be able to control your strikes, because you're going to have that timing down. You're going to have the skill down. And you're really going to be more effective and productive because you are already skilled in the basics and you can default to those without thinking about them too much and watching for other things around you. So today, a couple of the things that I noticed about my practice were that I felt slow. I also felt like my 12 striking mechanics felt and looked better this time with my bridging than they have previously. I have done some warming up this morning, but it was at least 100 degrees today when I went out to create this video, so I was getting hot. I felt a little bit drained of energy because of how hot it was. But what I also realized is all of those things were excuses. They may have been legitimate excuses and they may have had value. However, had I timed my day better, had I worked through things better this morning, I would have been outside training this morning instead of this afternoon when it was hot. Also, the other good thing to know is that I'm not going to be able to control when I'm in a fight. So whether I'm training in the heat, or I'm training in the snow, or I'm training in the most ideal temperature or weather, I need to make sure that my skill level is of such that none of those factors matter and my skills are strong enough to default down to protect myself in any condition. I also was aware that if I'm not prepared for a certain situation, it's going to be more important for me to have some leg strength to hijack it out of there on the next safe path possible. So also something really important for me to keep in mind as I'm practicing is that Paul Ingram of the Cully Center says that your footwork is really what's going to be able to save you, guaranteed, if your footwork is good and it's where it needs to be. Your strikes may not. The other person may have more skill. The other person may have a longer weapon. The other person, may have more training, or maybe they are on some kind of drug or something that is helping them to be stronger than they normally would or stronger than I am. So all factors that I need to remember as I'm practicing Kali is that, and other skills throughout my life, that I need to have always a preparedness to get myself out of a situation that's harmful or that isn't safe for me. Really, really good thoughts today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the practice, and I'll see you next time.